Welcome to the deep dive.
Good to be diving in.
So today we're tackling something that honestly feels like it changed things overnight. Vibe coding.
Oh, yeah. April 11th, 2025. That date kind of stuck, didn't
It
it?
really did. This idea of non-coders,
Yeah.
people like maybe some of our listeners, building actual software as a service, MVPs,
Yeah.
with AI in like 48 hours.
It sounds like science fiction, but it happened. And to make sense of it, we're looking through the lens of Eric Ries, the lean startup.
Right. The classic. Sam Altman from OpenAI is a big proponent of it, which is, interesting timing.
Very interesting. So our mission today is really to unpack this, see how vibe coding and lean startup principles collide, and what it means for building apps in 2025, especially if you're tracking these big shifts.
Okay, so let's start with the lean startup. Remind us of the core idea there.
Sure. At its heart, it's about speed and learning. Ries talks about the build, measure, learn feedback loop.
Build, measure, learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You build the simplest possible version of your product. That's the minimum viable product, or MVP.
The MVP. Got it.
You measure how real users interact with it, gather data, learn from it, and then you iterate. You either improve it or pivot based on that learning.
And Altman likes this because
Because it avoids wasted effort. You find out quickly if you're building something people actually want instead of spending months or years on a guess. It's about rapid, validated learning, especially crucial in fast-moving tech.
makes sense. Okay, now connect that to vibe coding. How does that work? It's not traditional coding, right?
Not at all. The idea is you describe your app concept in plain English. Just talk about what you want it to do.
Like, I want an app that helps me track my house plans.
Exactly like that. And then AI tools, these powerful large language models, take that description and,
Yes.
well, they generate the code, the actual software code.
Whoa, so it's like an ultra-smart interpreter turning ideas directly into applications.
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
the stats we're seeing are frankly staggering. Founders reporting they can build these initial SaaS MVPs 90% faster this way.
90%.
Yeah.
That changes the entire game. And just to clarify, a SaaS MVP, we're talking about a basic, usable version of a web-based subscription app, right? Enough to test the core idea.
Precisely. Enough to put in front of users and start that measure-learn part of the loop.
Which brings us back to that April 11th moment. Why was that specific instance so viral?
It was the proof point, really. A non-coder actually did it. Built a functional SaaS MVP in 2 days flat using vibe coding. It wasn't theoretical anymore.
It showed it was possible right now.
Yeah, and you'd have to think about the potential scale. The low-code, no-code market was already growing, but this lowers the barrier even further. Some projections, maybe a bit speculative, are throwing around figures like, unlocking a $50 billion creator economy segment, people with ideas but no coding skills.
A massive new wave of creators, potentially.
Yeah.
But, okay, here's where the lean startup might raise a caution flag, maybe. It's not just about building fast. It's about building the right thing and pivoting smartly based on feedback.
Exactly, and that's the crux of the issue with AI-generated code. Speed is one thing, understanding is another.
What do you mean?
Well, if the AI wrote the code and you're not a coder, how well do you actually understand it? How easily can you modify it based on subtle user feedback?
So iterating might be harder than the initial build.
It could be. We're seeing data suggesting developer teams might spend like 32% of their time just trying to reconstruct the context, figure out why the AI wrote the code the way it did before they can even change it effectively.
So that initial 90% speed boost might hit a wall later.
It's a definite risk. And then there's security. This is a big one.
Security, how so?
AI-generated code isn't inherently secure code. It might work, but it could have vulnerabilities. Think about things like API keys, those secret credentials for accessing other services, and AI might inadvertently embed them directly in the code, exposing them.
Oh, wow. So a non-coder builds an app super fast, gets users, and then boom, a security breach because a key was left exposed in the code they didn't fully understand.
That's a very plausible and worrying scenario. It highlights the gap between creating something functional and creating something robust and secure.
Okay, let's tie this back to Altman. He champions the lean startup, but he's also leading OpenAI, the engine behind much of this AI coding power. How does that square?
Well, you could argue it fits his vision of democratizing technology, making powerful tools accessible to more people. Vibe coding is kind of the ultimate expression of that, maybe?
Making creators out of everyone.
Perhaps. But the discussions happening online, like on X, show the tension. People are debating its impact everywhere, even in complex areas like game development with engines like Unity. Can AI really handle that complexity reliably? Can you maintain it?
So Altman's push for lean principles might actually be more important in the age of AI-generated code, not less. Because you still need that validation loop, maybe even more so if you don't fully grasp the underlying tech. I think that's a very sharp way to put it. The core principles: test your assumptions, learn from users, iterate. They don't go away just because code generation got faster. If anything, focusing on what to build and why becomes even more critical when the how gets easier.
So, wrapping this up, that April 11th moment, the vibe coding explosion, it's truly fascinating through this lean startup lens. You get incredible speed, incredible accessibility for that first step, the MVP.
Huge potential to unlock creativity, definitely. A whole new group of people can potentially bring ideas to life.
But it's not magic. The principles of understanding your creation, iterating thoughtfully based on real feedback, and crucially, ensuring it's secure and maintainable, those challenges don't vanish. They might even get trickier.
Absolutely. The initial build is just the starting line.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If describing an app is enough to create the code, what new skills become paramount? Maybe it's less about writing the code itself and more about the vision, the user understanding, and the ability to guide the AI effectively and securely. What does it mean to be a builder in this new era?